$30 an hour. In the world that I was born into, if you make $30 an hour on a job, you can provide yourself a really great living. As a matter of fact, we refer to $30 an hour as some real good money. It's the top of the top. It's the creme de la creme. It's the crown achievement in the job world, so to speak. I'm from a town of about 7,000 people. And in that town, there are about 3 or 4 jobs that provide an opportunity for you to make $30 an hour. Outside of that, you're probably in that $15 and under. But now some people get those jobs, those $30 hour jobs, and they say, hey man, I've made it. This is exactly what I wanted. I go out and get the house that I want. I buy a car that I want, and I live the rest of my days and enjoy my life. I might go on a vacation or 2 a year, and I'm good. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But then there's some of us that if you offered me $30 an hour at this stage of my life, that would be insulting. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't even entertain anything that you're talking about if you're telling me you're going to give me $30 an hour. Why is that? That has absolutely nothing to do with arrogance, but it has everything to do with understanding your value, understanding your worth. And when you understand your worth, you don't allow for people to pay you less than what you're worth, to downsize your worth, downsize your value, downsize the value of your skill set. You don't allow for that. But now some people say, hey Brandon, how am I going to go and get a job and get $100 an hour if that's what I feel like I'm worth? Well, I don't think it's about looking for a job. I think it's about taking your life into your own hands. You are responsible, 100% responsible for your own life, for your own results. In this video today, I'm going to talk to you about how I went from $30 an hour to $30,000 a month. All right, let's first start off talking about how do you see yourself? What do you think of yourself? We all are salespeople, whether we want to admit that or not. Everybody is selling themselves at some point and throughout life. On your job, you're going in and you're selling yourself to people saying, hey, I'm worth X amount of dollars based off of the skill set that I bring to the table. That's just what it is. And we say that we think really highly of ourselves. But when we look at what we sell ourselves for, it tells a different story. Because we sell ourselves for less than we are worth. Why is that? Why do we downsize ourselves? Why do we sell ourselves for less than we're worth? 2 reasons come to mind. Number 1, because you don't know how much you're really worth. You see, we live in a world where your value is priced by someone else. When you go to college and get a certain degree, they say you're going to make X amount of dollars based on the degree you have. When you go to the job to get that job, they say we're going to start you out at X amount of dollars. Maybe a year down the road, we'll raise you to this amount. They are pricing your value. They are telling you what your skill set is worth. And anytime somebody else is telling you what you're worth, it's very likely that it's going to be in conflict with what you think you're worth. So it's important to get out of the mindset of somebody else telling you what your value is. You have to start pricing your own value. And pricing your own value comes with a shift in mindset, a shift in the way that you think. Shifting away from the thinking that you get paid based off of time, shifting to the thinking that you get paid based off of the value you bring to the time. And number 2, the second reason why we downsize our own value is because we're in this traditionalist thinking. We believe that we're just supposed to go and get a job. We are in the thinking that a job is the only way that we can make it. People say, hey, you know you have to have a job in order to pay the bills. Some people don't see it that way. Because I don't have a job and I pay my bills just fine. So it's not required to have a job in order to pay the bills. That's a shift in mindset also that we have to have. To shift from the thinking that I need a job in order to live, in order to survive. To shift to the thinking that I can live just fine. I can have the lifestyle that I want without a job. Now let's talk about knowing what it is that you want. Because when you know what you want, and you know it like you know, it helps you to establish vision. And vision gives us direction. And when we have direction, it helps to clear the picture up. It gives us clarity. And when we get that clarity now, we can focus on the activities that require the most attention in order for us to bring into existence what we want and desire. Because when you're properly aligned with your desires, then you can realize the fullness of your power. So now you know what you want. And you know you want to make a substantial amount of money per month. How do you plan to do it? How do you plan to position yourself so that you can make that kind of money per month? First of all, you have to be honest with yourself. You're on a job right now, and the likelihood of you making that type of money on a monthly basis is very unlikely. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to make it happen for yourself? The answer, in my opinion, is sales. You have to learn, you have to know without a shadow of a doubt in your mind that the way that you're going to make that type of money is you have to sell something. It cannot just be you're going to work every day. So the thing that I would be more so focused on, or more so than anything else, is sharpening my sales skills while I still had a job, focusing on how I can become a better overall person, but particularly a better salesperson. Where does that start at? That starts with education. Educating yourself on sales, reading books about sales, and then going out and doing the work. Exercising, practicing, getting better and better every single day at it. Is it easy? Absolutely not. But anything worth having, as they say, is not going to be easy. Sales is one of those things. You can expect it to be very difficult when you first get started because you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable with it. But as you come in alignment, as you start to practice and study it more and more, you get more and more used to it, and then you become comfortable with sales. When you get to a level that you're comfortable with sales, then you're doing something more naturally then, and you can earn more money doing it. You see, what I do is a freight broker business. I sell freight, or I manage the movement of freight. And that's what it's all about. You have to be able to sell a service. And when you're selling something and people are purchasing, then you have a much more likelihood of earning a lot of money. More so than you would if you were exchanging time for money on a job. It just doesn't happen that way. So go ahead now, position yourself now to put yourself on top by understanding sales, getting a good understanding of how to sell yourself and how to sell a product, how to sell a service. Now let's talk about believing in yourself. It's one thing to think that you can do something because you see me do it or because you see somebody else do it. You say to yourself, hey man, if Brandon can do it, I think maybe I can do it too. That's a great place to start because it gives you an example to look to. But it's entirely different to know like you know tomorrow is coming, to believe in yourself, to believe that what's possible for someone else as far as greatness is concerned is also possible for you. You see, the only reason why I make $30,000 per month now is because the goal was not $30,000. The goal was $100,000 per month, and it still is. And every day I'm moving toward achieving that goal. I'm not trying. You didn't hear me say that I'm trying to achieve that goal. I'm moving toward it. I'm doing it day in and day out. So that's what it's about, I believe. It's about establishing in your mind where you want to be, and then going to work to achieve that. And as you start working, you're going to run into different experiences that you're going to learn from. You're going to be able to take something from those experiences to build on. That's going to build you higher and higher up, get you closer and closer to where it is that you want to go, the goal that you want to achieve. Make your main thing your only thing for a period of time. Now, you have to determine that period of time. I think that period of time is determined by how long it takes you to start making consistent income in your main thing. Once you get consistent income flowing in your main thing, then you can look outside of that to start other streams of income to flowing into your household. But I wouldn't focus on anything else until I got that main thing turned all the way on. And then and only then will I start to focus my attention on building additional streams of income. We want to build additional streams of income because the more streams we have coming in, the more money we make. Walmart just doesn't sell TVs, they also sell groceries. Mike Tyson is not just a boxer, he's also an entertainer. So people do different things to earn additional money. That's what you should be focused on as well, but not until you get the main thing done. So now let's talk about the fact that I quit my job before I ever started my business. You see, I knew I wouldn't be able to build a business and share time with my job. I knew the job would dominate most of my time and I would be just putting a little effort toward building a business. And I wanted to devote all of my time. I wanted to give my business all of me because I knew if I gave it all of me, I had the best chance of being successful. Because when you really think about it, how many people do you know that make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month and they still have a job? Not very many. So I chose the business over the job. Now, I certainly wouldn't recommend this path to everybody. Most people would probably be better off if they kept their day jobs and built their businesses part-time. Because it takes a really good plan, well thought out plan to be able to pull this off. And even with a well thought out plan, things can go still way left. You could lose your business and your job. So you might want to think about this. Think about this long and hard. Have a good plan in place and understand that all of the responsibility is on you if you decide to go this route. If you can stomach that, go for it. If that's a little bit too much for you to take, stay on the porch. So now let's talk about choosing the right business when you decide to start your own thing. Most people think that if you go in and choose a business with a lot of overhead, requiring you to spend a whole lot of money up front, requiring you to get a loan, then somehow that positions you to have the most success. I argue against that. I think a business with low overhead, low operational expenses positions you for the most success. Why is that? Because it allows for you to keep more money in your pocket and spend less money on the business. Isn't that how we want to do it? We want to spend as little money as we can on the business to be able to pocket more and more money. People think that if I go out and get employees, that means I'm successful. That does not mean you're successful. That means that you just have people that you are paying. You have people that are taking your profit. So it's not about just going out and hiring somebody. Yes, we want to hire people when the time is appropriate, when it's time for us to do so, when our business calls for us to hire people, when it's in our best interest. We are not interested in going out and just hiring people to say we have an employee. I believe the best business to get started in is one that costs little money up front with unlimited earning potential. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Wherever you are in your life right now, if you're happy with that, great. But don't confuse that place with your destination. It could just be your arrival, even if it's where you think you want to be. It might just be your arrival, not your destination. I wish you the very best in your life and business. Always remember this: your life is 100% your responsibility. And I almost forgot, just in case you want to learn more about the freight broker business, if you're still looking for what it is that you want to do, I'll bring you into my office with me, let you watch over my shoulders. I move loads, talk to shippers, talk to carriers. That way you can get a better understanding of how this business works before you come into it. And then if you decide that you want to know how much it's going to cost to start your own freight broker business, I got you where that's concerned as well. I'll leave a free link right here. See you at the top, because the bottom is much too crowded.